Hi everyone, I'm PPE and this is the Peso Pro episode where we talk about money management tips and peso tricks. Today, we're gonna run down my top 5 choices for travel-related credit cards in the Philippines for 2021. While most of us are grounded and could not travel for this year, I think it's also a good time to strategize your travel plans for maybe next year, ideally when things hopefully get better. Credit cards are a great way to earn airline miles that you can use to redeem tickets so that when travel opens up again and we get to fly, then you don't have to shell out a lot of cash to get the tickets that you plan to get. This video took longer than what I expected. I actually went through more than 20 credit cards and I'm gonna share with you the methodology of how I ended up with these 5 recommendations. First, when we talk about travel-related cards, I went through almost all of the banks and found all of the credit cards that have a travel-related theme. This could be a tie-up with an airline or a hotel chain. It can also be a travel-branded generic card, much like the Citibank Premiermiles, where it's not tied to a specific airline, but it's very branded as a travel card. Also, I included cards of higher elite status. So these can be Visa Platinum or Signature cards or MasterCard World credit cards because those typically have perks related to travel as well. If you're new to the credit card game, take this video as an educational video for you. Basic credit cards typically don't have the best airline miles programs, so learning the ropes of credit cards first and trying to build your credit history and credit limit over time will help you understand how you can maximize these miles moving forward. However, if you currently have any of these cards or have at least 1 or 2 premium or elite credit cards in your wallet, there's a video that you don't want to miss. Let's jump right in. When I compare credit cards, I look at it from a holistic standpoint. I looked at the points conversion based on the amount spent. So this means gaano kalaki yung kailangan kong gastusin to get 1 airline mile. I also look at the different perks like lounge access and other freebies that you may get from the card. Also, at this tier, some cards offer multipliers or bonus ways to earn more miles. So we're gonna talk about that as well. We're also gonna discuss foreign currency transaction fees because this being a travel card makes it a bit more susceptible to those fees because you're bound to use them abroad. Lastly, I also included annual fees and other salient points in these credit cards. But one caveat though is I'm only looking at the elite tier cards or the travel branded cards specifically for full service airlines. The reason for that is when you compare low-cost airlines like Cebu Pacific or AirAsia, the conversion can be a bit different and they're not really apples to apples. So for the interest of this video, let's focus on full service airlines and having them compared across all of the different cards on offer today. Before we go to my top 5 pick, for everyone who has the BPI Delta Skymiles card, do take note that that card has been discontinued as of April 1st, 2021. Meaning, if you have that card and if you weren't aware or if you missed the email that was sent to you, that card is no longer in play and you can no longer use that to earn Delta Skymiles. Check out the BPI website so that you understand what will happen to your miles and what is the other card that they will give you in lieu of the BPI Delta Skymiles card. For the longest time, the Delta Skymiles card from BPI was one of the easiest ways to earn Delta points. Delta points are not very normal or common in the Philippines, so this can be a major drawback, especially for those who frequent the US using the Delta service. Without further ado, let's talk about the runners-up first. My number 5 card will be the Citibank Premiermiles card. This used to be the go-to card that I have for travel-related spend, but now it has really fallen from grace after the devaluation that happened last December 2020. If you haven't gotten to that video, I'll link it up right here. It may be too late for you to claim pre-devaluation, but the method of which ones are the best redemption methods can still be applicable. Do note though that the illustrations on that video were based as of when that video was taken. Just check it out on their website, but that should be a good enough guide to get you to redemption choices. The Premiermiles card now has a devalued base earn rate of 48 peso to 1 mile. This means that even if the card says that you earn 1 Premiermiles mile for every 30 pesos spent. That's a bit of a very misleading statement because when you convert your Premier Miles, it used to be 1:1, but now after devaluation, it's now 1.6 Premier Miles to an actual airline mile. And that's how we get to the 48 peso base earn rate. This card also no longer has the multiplier benefits, or it doesn't have any bonus earning tiers. So you're left with the 48 peso spend rate for either local or overseas purchases. As a side note, the top 5 that I have are all less than 50 pesos per mile, which I think is maybe the threshold to call something at least a decent travel miles card. Anything beyond the 50 peso base earn rate, I intentionally left out of this video because you're not in for a very good deal if you have any of those cards. What's still going for the Citibank Premier Miles though is that it still has a lot of airline partners that you can claim with, and it also has IHG as a hotel partner if you want to claim hotel points for your Premier Miles. They still offer the complimentary Dragon Pass lounge access, which is up to twice per year, including domestic lounges. Not the best in the industry, but can be helpful, especially if you have long-haul flights or long stopovers. Citibank Premier Miles, along with the devaluation, also worsened their foreign exchange rate. The forex fee is now at about 3.5%, which is the highest among the top 5 that we will discuss today. So every time you pay in overseas purchases, expect to pay a 3.5% foreign exchange fee. The annual fee remains to be at 5,000 pesos per year, with the potential for it to be waived if you meet certain criteria or if there is a promotion in play. Next on my list is the BDO AMEX Platinum card. It has about the same base earn rate at 45 pesos, so it's about 3 pesos different versus the Citibank Premier Miles card. It has the same 5,000 annual fee and also has about the same redemption options. There is no bonus earn rate on the BDO AMEX Platinum, so you're stuck with the 45 peso to 1 mile conversion rate. You can claim in a good variety of different airlines like Singapore Airlines, Delta, Thai Airways, Malaysian Airlines, and Asia Miles. These airlines give you good access to a variety of different full-service airlines, so it's a good deal, not the best, but you have at least good choices for your miles. The BDO AMEX Platinum has slightly better foreign currency fees at 2.5%, but lacks in the lounge category. It does give you and one guest unlimited access to domestic lounges in NAIA, but doesn't have any program for international lounges. Can be a setback, especially if you have layovers in big airports in different countries. The last among my runners-up would be the RCBC Preferred Air Miles Visa Platinum. While it has about the base earn rate of the BDO Amex Platinum at 45 peso per 1 mile, the RCBC card though gives you a bonus earning rate of 25 pesos per mile on overseas purchases. This means that effectively, when you spend overseas, you get about twice the number of miles versus your local consumption. So this is a good bonus multiplier, especially if you have a lot of overseas purchases in this card. The redemption options are a bit limited with the PAL Mabuhay Miles and Asia Miles for international carriers, but this card gives you the flexibility to convert to Cebu Pacific's GetGo or AirAsia's Big Points program. The foreign exchange fee is at 3.5%, which makes it comparable to the Citibank Premier Miles, but it does come up with additional perks because you do have unlimited access in the local lounges in NAIA, and you also get a membership to Priority Pass. It's an international lounge program that gives you access to different lounges in their network. However, this is a paid service where you pay $27 or roughly about 1,300 pesos every time you enter the lounge. But you can claim for a reversal of the charge when you spend a minimum of 70,000 pesos in your RCBC bank card. Overall, in the runner-up list, these 3 cards give you okay value but not the best. Also, one thing to note, in the runners-up list, only the BDO AMEX Platinum does give you the chance to convert points into Hilton or Marriott hotels points. This is also a bit of a consideration for some people, especially if you're trying to rack up points for your hotel stays. Hilton and Marriott don't have a lot of partner banks and credit cards in the Philippines, so this is one edge that the BDO Amex may probably have among the other cards, even including my top picks. However, if you're just really looking for airline miles and travel tickets as the main redemption option for you, then stay in this video because I'm gonna reveal the top 2 picks for 2021. If you have any of the 3 cards that I mentioned a while ago, you may want to consider shifting to these 2. Let's start with the first one. One of my top picks would be the BDO CATHAY Pacific Amex Elite. This is an elite card being offered by CATHAY Pacific as a Crow-branded travel card with BDO. You start with a base earn rate of 38 peso per mile, which is actually already better than the runners-up. However, there are ways to boost this earn rate. If you spend on overseas purchases, you get 2 points or 2 miles for every 50 pesos spent. This means that effectively your earn rate goes down to 25 peso per mile. You also get double points on bookings under Cathay Pacific. So if you buy airline tickets under Cathay Pacific, that 38 pesos spent yields to 2 air miles, which means the effective earn rate is 19 peso per mile. That may be a limited set of purchases because I don't know how often you buy Cathay Pacific airline tickets, so maybe the best value in this card would be your overseas purchases. The card still does come with a standard 5,000 annual fee for this tier, and you'll notice that almost all of them will be offering the same annual fee. Waivers are subject to promotions and the bank's discretion. The BDO Cathay Pacific Amex Elite only converts the points into Asia Miles. Asia Miles being Cathay Pacific's loyalty program. However, within Asia Miles, you can also redeem in a lot of different airline partners, which I'll show on screen. The good thing about Asia Miles is that these miles do not expire as long as you have activity every year. The FX conversion fee is at 2.5%, still better than the worst on this list, but not the best. It also offers you lounge access, both domestic and international, but this comes as a redemption of Asia Miles, which means while you have access to these lounges, you would have to shell out points to be able to enter those miles versus the other cards that give you free access to the lounge. It is unlimited as long as you have enough points to claim, and you just need to link your account so that you're able to redeem all of these lounge privileges. More details on their website. You also get green tier privileges in the Marco Polo Club, which I will link to in the description box below. There are priority boarding and occasional deals under the Marco Polo Club, and you being in the green tier will have access to some of these promotions, and you may be able to use that to also maximize this card. The BDO Cathay Pacific Amex Elite is a good way to earn Asia Miles fast. This is the only card that gives you about a 25 peso earn rate on overseas purchases in Asia Miles, which is far better than the other competing cards. So if you fly Cathay Pacific quite often, or if you fly in that network quite often, then this card may be actually for you. As good as the Cathay Pacific Amex Elite sounds, I actually have my top card pick for 2021, and it is the EASTWEST Bank Singapore Airlines KRISFLYER World MASTERCARD. Take note that EASTWEST Bank offered this a couple of years back as a co-branded card with Singapore Airlines KRISFLYER. It is the first co-branded card of Singapore Airlines in the Philippines with the bank, so it was meant to really entice people to consider this card, especially if you're traveling with Singapore Airlines or with Star Alliance as the broader network. There are 2 tiers to this card. What I personally recommend, assuming your gross income per year and your credit history allows you, is to go for the World MasterCard, which is MasterCard's highest tier. There is a Platinum tier with almost the same benefits, it's just that your earning rate is slightly worse off than the World MasterCard. It still is a good deal though, so if you don't have the credit history or if you get denied in applying for the World MasterCard, please try to apply for the Platinum card instead. Off the bat, the EASTWEST Bank KRISFLYER card gives you a base earn rate of 36 peso per mile. This is already 2 pesos better than the BDO AMEX Elite, and we haven't even discussed about the bonus offers from this card. What I like best is that if you book airline tickets in Singapore Airlines or Scoot, you actually get a 3x multiplier. That means that your 36 peso spend yields you 3 KRISFLYER miles, which brings down the effective earn rate to just 12 pesos per mile. But okay, you're telling me, PPE, kailan ba talaga ako bibili ng Singapore Airlines tickets? So, in this card, obviously, there is a but wait, there's more. In this card, you also get the same 3x multiplier on travel spend, which includes hotels, travel agencies, or even other airlines. It doesn't even have to be Singapore Airlines. That's a game changer because if any of these 3 categories are hit, you still get the same 3x multiplier, bringing down your effective earn rate to only 12 pesos per mile. The same applies for overseas purchases, which, remember, in the BDO AMEX Elite, you get 2 miles for 50 pesos spend. In the KRISFLYER card, you get 3 miles for every 36 pesos spend. That's a big difference, especially when you have big ticket items overseas. You also get the same conversion for international cash advance, although I don't advocate for this because you actually get fees and interest charges when you do so, but at least you get the 3x multiplier. However, even with all of that, the biggest game changer in this card is that when you buy online purchases, be it domestic or international, I repeat, domestic online purchases even qualify for the same 3x multiplier, which, if you think about it, especially in the time of coronavirus, most of your purchases are being done online. With this sounding too good to be true, I actually emailed EASTWEST Bank and got confirmation that as long as you purchased via an online channel, be it domestic or international, you get the same 3x rate. This is mind-blowing because then you can really rack up your KRISFLYER miles very quickly because essentially every time you buy online or pay for something, subject of course to the terms and conditions of this card, you earn 3 KRISFLYER miles every 36 pesos or 12 peso per mile. Even the old Citibank Premiermiles card didn't have this in their option. Some of you who know me knows that my favorite airlines is Singapore Airlines, so this is absolutely not a biased review. It just so happened that the EASTWEST Bank credit card actually offers tremendous value. The KRISFLYER miles will convert into Singapore Airlines loyalty program, which then allows you to also claim with their partner airlines in Star Alliance. Star Alliance being the world's biggest network of airlines, so you actually have a lot of airlines to choose from. It's just that you can't make a direct redemption from the EASTWEST card to another airline. You have to go through Singapore Airlines KRISFLYER. The KRISFLYER or the Singapore Airlines network though is very impressive, and in rewards tickets, they also don't tack on fuel surcharges, which can be a big savings in the longer term. The card does come with the same 5,000 annual fee, but another win of this card is that their foreign exchange rate fee is only 1.7%, which is half of what Citibank Premiermiles has. So if you have planned overseas purchases while on travel, you actually get double wins. You get a lower exchange rate fee and you get 3 times more miles on 36 pesos versus the other cards. The card also does come with Lounge Key, another lounge access program which gives you 4 complimentary visits in a year on domestic and international lounges. These 4 visits can be enjoyed by the main card holder and 1 guest. Overall, EASTWEST Bank's KRISFLYER World MasterCard is probably the best travel card in the market today, especially if you want to rack up points and try to save for the next trip that you can take, maybe when COVID is over or things start to get back to the old normal. To put this into perspective, for you to be able to claim a saver round-trip economy airfare from Manila to Singapore, you would need 25,000 KRISFLYER miles. On the EASTWEST Bank KRISFLYER miles card, assuming that you do online purchases or you take advantage of the multiplier, you actually will be able to rack up enough miles to claim for a round-trip ticket by only spending 300,000. Because of the earning rate of 3 KRISFLYER miles for every 36 pesos spent, you actually turbocharge your earning in this card. Compare that to the old Citibank Premiermiles card, which right now is at about a 48 peso to 1 mile conversion rate. To get to the same 25,000 KRISFLYER miles, you would have to end up spending 1.2 million pesos to get the same award fare. If you converted to the EASTWEST Bank card, you would have gotten 4 times the number of tickets versus if you stuck with your Citi Premiermiles card. That's it. Those are my recommendations for the top travel cards for full-service airlines in 2021. I hope this was helpful. I will link the links of those 5 cards in the description box below. Note that I am not connected to any of these banks, so I tried to be as unbiased as I can when checking what are the best offers that are available to the Philippines market. If you're considering changing your card earning strategy, these recommendations should help turbocharge you to earn enough miles for the next travel, assuming travel continues maybe later in the year or next year. I hope you guys are staying safe and healthy, and if you want to learn more, these 2 videos right here talk about different personal finance topics as well. If this video was of value, please hit like and subscribe and the notification bell so that you're notified when the next videos are up. Click on these 2 right now.